if we see this chart here, right, this is the bull run that we've just experienced. Incredible, right? I mean, we haven't experienced this in quite some time, but number one, I mean, it looks big, but if we zoom out on the chart, I think it's important to keep it in perspective, right? This is what we're talking about. This is what's getting all the hype, is this move up in Bitcoin. And again, like you said, very normal because people had been kind of lulled to sleep with no volatility. I think we had the lowest volatility in Bitcoin history. So it was kind of dictating something would wake things up. But again, you have to look at, okay, this is the down market and this is where we are right now. Is it anything yet to get excited about? And I'm going to tell you where, you see these bear market rallies that are they call them rip your face off rallies because they're so intense and they get so much excitement from bulls. But again, if you look at the stock market, we've had moves like that. And in fact, I showed some charts earlier today. I posted one on Twitter, but basically what it was showing is that
Bitcoin finally decided to wake up and give new investors not used to volatility some hope. But unfortunately, everything stayed the same from the macro perspective, as we didn't see significant regulation use or even big players coming to crypto. So with that in mind, in today's video, Gareth Soloway from InTheMoneyStocks.com and VerifiedInvestingCrypto.com will share his insights about what's happening. He will even give out a massive warning to everyone wanting to invest in Bitcoin. Please watch this video carefully until the end. These 10 minutes can save your crypto from a coming disaster. First, let's have a quick look at macro and S&P 500 as it correlates heavily with Bitcoin.
Yeah, so I've actually started accumulating shorts on the S&P. I wouldn't call myself all in on my positions yet, but I'm in the camp that, I mean, we could go a little bit higher, but I do think that we're in a position here where we're going to see a bigger drop in the S&P. And I think this is, again, the same kind of thing. You're getting this asset kind of re-risking, if you will, people taking risk again, but we're now into some key levels on the S&P where I think you're about to see a bigger rollover and probably still trading down. I think this year at minimum we hit this 3,400 level, and then I think we could go down to this 3,000 level by late this year in 2023. Yeah, absolutely. And I think people have to look at the big picture, right? This is where you started to see quantitative easing at the lows in 09, and this is the run we had. And now essentially the Fed is pulling the punch bowl away. And is it realistic to think that all we're going to see is this 20% correction on the S&P 500? I find that hard to believe. I mean, again, the addiction to easy money, cheap money is now gone. I mean, look at the mortgage market, look at the housing market, everything that's going on there. It's collapsing across the board. And that's only going to get worse once people start to lose jobs. As of now, job market is safe. I think that's keeping things afloat. You throw in a weak jobs number, where we start to see people net losing jobs month after month, and things get very nasty very quickly.
What about crypto and Bitcoin? Why is it pumping if nothing changed?
Yeah, so I mean, we've definitely had an impressive move on Bitcoin, right? So I mean, Bitcoin has finally woken up. I think that you see a lot of this hype building very, very quickly, which for me is a little bit of a concern, right? I've been through many bear markets in my 25 plus years of trading, and it's very rare that a bear market ends with euphoria coming in so quickly. Usually the first 10, 20, 30%, after a bear market, investors are very, very skeptical. And that's not what I'm seeing this time. And that makes me a little nervous, to be honest. It does. I think that people were just kind of biding their time and they're just jumping back on the bandwagon. I'm seeing incredible pumping across all social media platforms. There hasn't been any change. You could argue that the Fed is coming to the end of their hiking cycle, but that doesn't mean interest rates are going to go back down, right? I mean, we figure the Fed funds policy, level is going to remain at 5-ish% for most of 2023. So you don't have that dropping of rates that can stimulate kind of the Bitcoin surge again, like past bear markets ending, nor do you have quantitative easing going on, both of which are unlikely to come in this year. So for me, this is very classic of a bear market rally. And that's why I'm a little skeptical. I had some longs going into this. I was talking about a potential breakout. We've gotten that, but I always said it would be a breakout that would get bulls to kind of jump back on the ship, but it probably is a shorter-lived bull market run, intra-bear market, right? You see these bear market rallies that are they call them rip your face off rallies because they're so intense and they get so much excitement from bulls. But again, if you look at the stock market, we've had moves like that. And in fact, I showed some charts earlier today. I posted one on Twitter, but basically what it was showing is that since Tesla has topped out, it had moves of 35%, 64%, 50%, and then even down here, you're at 18%, where it's, here we are with Bitcoin up, what, 25, 30% off of the lows. I mean, that kind of falls right in the midst of these moves that we've seen in Tesla. And I do liken Tesla and the type of people that are investing in Tesla as the same that kind of get involved in Bitcoin and kind of have that mentality. So I think it's important. You could look at any stock. I mean, you could look at Apple, Amazon. A lot of them have these bear market rallies where they jump 30, 40, even 50%, but then ultimately find themselves making new lows. And so I would just caution people out there. Yes, yes, it would be great to know that Bitcoin has made a low pivot and maybe we're starting to head up, but I wouldn't get too excited just yet. You could argue, just like you're saying, is that this is at this point, we don't know if this is anything bigger yet. And to really be kind of on that new bull market will be at all-time highs in 6 months from now is probably a little bit of a jump the gun type scenario.
6 months? What about next week?
Hey, I think I was seeing that on Twitter too.
The Fed didn't change anything. If there's no regulation used on crypto and no other events to get new investors, according to Gareth, this is a fake bull run that will trap and wipe out a lot of investors. So we all must be careful with that. When should you get excited about Bitcoin and predict an actual bull run to happen next?
If we see this chart here, right, this is the bull run that we've just experienced. Incredible, right? I mean, we haven't experienced this in quite some time, but number one, I mean, it looks big, but if we zoom out on the chart, I think it's important to keep it in perspective, right? This is what we're talking about. This is what's getting all the hype, is this move up in Bitcoin. And again, like you said, very normal because people had been kind of lulled to sleep with no volatility. I think we had the lowest volatility in Bitcoin history. So it was kind of dictating something would wake things up. But again, you have to look at, okay, this is the down market and this is where we are right now. Is it anything yet to get excited about? And I'm going to tell you where I'm going to get a little bit excited. If we were to take out this high right here, which is the beginning of the FTX collapse, where we saw FTX, and all the fraud and all that come to light, that's where, if we could get above that psychologically, I think that would be a positive for Bitcoin. So that's so important because people will see an intraday move above or even a close above, get very excited, and then they'll wonder why price gets slammed back down. So you want to see price get above and actually stay there and consolidate there, right? And again, if you look at where Bitcoin has stalled here, it's right at that level. Now, let's talk psychology of the markets, because this will be a great educational part, is that why do these levels have so much resistance? And the answer is this. Over here, you had choppy sideways to up move. You started to make moves to the upside right here, right here. A lot of people were buying Bitcoin. And then all of a sudden, that floor got just pulled out from under them. And they saw their accounts drop by 25, 35, 45%. In some altcoin cases, it was 50%. And so what happens is when price goes back there, those people that saw their 10,000 account at 5,000, they're made whole again. And there's this psychological thing about saying, okay, I'm back to break even. Let me get out. Let me just walk away at this point. And that's why you have the technical resistance right at that level. So to me, this is the level I'm watching right around 21,500. Let's see in the next few days what happens. I actually put out a short signal on Ethereum yesterday when we were above 1550. I think we're in a position to see a pullback here.
To close this fantastic interview, if that's the breakout level to expect a good bull run, what is the level to expect the continuation of a drop and find newer lows?
That's my next case for downside in Bitcoin or crypto in general, is the idea that we'll get some regulation out there that actually will help the case for longer term sustainability in crypto. But the next leg down to me is where you start to see the asset markets like the stock market really start to tumble when we do enter recession. And then the biggest question is, right, and I think we talked about this in the past, is when we get to that point, all investing people, all commentators, all investors, they're going to look to the Fed to bail us out, because that's what we've been accustomed to doing for the last 12 years, 13 years. And the Fed's going to say, honestly, can't do that. We can't start printing again. So now you're in a sustained economic recession where asset prices, because the companies will earn less, are going to have to go lower. And that question is how much of that sell pressure in the stock market trickles in to the crypto markets.
Did you enjoy this video? Let us know in the comments below if you want to see more of these daily crypto videos with Gareth. Also, please remember to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any updates. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you later.